Appraiser for another segment of Amazing Appraising. We are talking about the very exciting very exciting commercial art market here in the center of the world, here in New York City. So we wanted to get into the contemporary art market, and that is what we are doing. So please, everyone there, we're getting a lot of response, calls and texts and emails about all the other collectibles we have and you have and want to have appraised. So please, if you have anything in contemporary art that you wish to have seller appraised, please contact us immediately and let us know what you have. You can send us pictures or meet us in our gallery by appointment, and we're happy to discuss it with you. And also, we've purchased a lot of items from people that don't have them themselves, but they have friends and relatives and clients and people they know that may be sitting on a very expensive item, and they have referred them to us, and we paid substantial finder's fees. So if you know of anyone that has anything unusual in collectibles, sports memorabilia, paintings, artwork, especially contemporary art, let us know. You could be in for a very, very pleasant surprise and a very, very substantial payment finder's fee check from us. Okay, so we just gave one out somebody last week for $5,500, and he was surprised because he didn't even know the person contacted us. He mentioned it to them in just a small conversation. They actually called us, and we bought it, and they said that we ask everybody how they hear about us, and they said through this gentleman, and we called him up and gave him a large finder's fee check for $5,500. So if you have anybody that you know of that has any of these, whether they're grandparents, great-grandparents, great-great-great-grandparents, uncles, aunts, friends, colleagues, what we were just offered, somebody called us up about, he was at a Rolling Stones concert in 1978. This was a story, Miss Blue, that just happened last night. He gave us a call, and he was in a concert, and in order to see the concert, he climbed up this huge pole, it was and the lights in one of the stadiums or something. It was like 40, 50 feet in the air, and the police were trying to get him down and were going to arrest him. So he made a deal. They wanted to go ahead with the concert. They didn't want him up there. So they brought the band down. They told him, you come down, we will let you watch the concert backstage, and we will get you something autographed by all the group.
Wow.
So he actually had a banner there. Now it's coming back to me. Yes, that was a long time ago. It was last night he told me. So he was saying that this guy was in the Army, and he had his sheet from his cot, from the cot over there, and he took the sheet, and he had a banner there with the Rolling Stones thing, that he was congratulating them or something like that, and he took that banner, he had them all signed, and he wanted to know what we would pay for that banner signed by the Rolling Stones. So he's going to hopefully call us and bring it in shortly, and then we will let everyone know what a sheet that was a banner that was signed by the Rolling Stones, that was used as a negotiating bargaining tool to get this guy down from this very, very high pole that he was on, would be worth. So, that's going to probably could be we're going to see pictures shortly, that could be the largest signatures ever recorded of the Rolling Stones. I mean, if they signed it, what does it say? 1 foot equals 1 foot? I don't know. We'll see what that means. I don't know. But if they signed it in proportion to the piece, it'll be very, very large. This is Lee the Appraiser back for some more information on contemporary art. Next, we're going to be talking about Peter Max. Now, he's a different character. He actually, I think he was born right before the World War II. I think about in the 1930s, about 1937. is when he was born. He was basically born to German parents in Berlin. He had a Jewish upbringing, and then his family traveled, I think, to Shanghai and to a couple other different countries. I think he stopped off in Paris and started drawing there. They went to Israel for a little bit, I believe, and then he came here to Brooklyn, New York, in Bensonhurst, and he studied here in the Lafayette High School, etc. And he is known very similarly to Leroy Neiman, that they loved various colors. They loved sketching. You'll see a lot of. I remember him as a kid that he made he was picked to do the phone book here in the Verizon phone book, probably about 1980 or so. He did, I think, a very famous thing on the World's Fair. He had his own studio here. He actually, one of his assistants came to our gallery a number of years ago and asked us to go to his gallery and pick out some of his work. He was a very, very shrewd businessman. The story is that I heard that he would never, ever, ever pay for dinner here in New York, even when he went out with friends. And he would take them out to dinner, he would go there, and then at the end of the meal, the bill would be $1,000. He would convince the owner, how about I give you a sketch? And he would draw a sketch of the owner, a sketch of the restaurant, et cetera, et cetera. So he was well before our, giving a shout out on Instagram. He was like the numero uno in doing that. So and he also, I read some very cool stories about him where he would actually get the list of the Forbes 500 richest people, and he would draw them, and then he would invite them to an event to buy their own pictures that he drew. And he figured it was worth the effort, as most of the people would end up buying them. So he was a very shrewd businessman. Right now, I believe he's quite ill. There's been issues. It's been in the paper. Himself, his wife, his sons. There's a lot of issues going on over there. They're all, unfortunately, as somebody gets older and they're very successful and has a lot of money and has a lot of items there, they fight for it. And there's some fighting going on about his, his ownership and everything like that. If I didn't, he's actually, I said he was Jewish, so his actual name was Peter Max Finkelstein. So I guess he dropped the Finkelstein instead of the Max. But anyhow, so interesting enough, all these guys have like big mustaches. I don't know what that means, but anyhow, so he was known for big colors. He would do things that was called mixed media. That means he would take an item, maybe do a print of a certain drawing. He'd make the print, and then he would take a brush and the paint and touch up the print, and that would be called sort of an original mixed media that he touched a little, and et cetera, et cetera. Now those are worth certainly more than the original prints or total lithographs, but they are less than an original complete hand-painted painting, so it's somewhere in the middle there. But his work is now steadily appreciating, as to the fact that he's quite ill and is probably not going to paint anything again. All right, so again, if you have any unusual items of his, please let us know. We have a strong interest in following in his items. And of course, the other artist that we're going to talk about just for a few minutes is Jean-Michel Basquiat. He's the young Frenchman who started, I guess he was born probably in the 60s or so, and he died at, I think, 27, 28 years old of a heroin overdose. We've met a couple of his colleagues who started working, actually were their partners. Al Diaz is one. We've done a fair amount of research in his background and his history, as we, about, I guess, 2 years ago now, we were offered a very unusual drawing of his. It was a nude woman figure on the subway system here in New York, and it was signed by him. I think it was called Subway Rider. And my interesting story was that this was, of course, the first one we ever handled, and I sent the information and offered it to a couple of the people that I've known for a long time in the art world. And interesting enough, nobody would buy it. And no one said it was not good or not genuine or not authentic. They just wouldn't buy it, and the response was pretty much the same, that we don't handle it, don't know, it looks okay, but it's not what he normally handles, but we don't handle it because the only items today that we would sell officially are items that have been authenticated through the original Jean-Michel Basquiat Foundation. And that foundation, which was started by about 6, I guess, of the world's greatest experts at that time. I don't remember the names off the top of my head, but it included, one woman scholar, several men scholars, dealers. These are people that discovered Basquiat, dealers that handled his work for many years, students that studied his work, people that did his exhibitions, people that were his friends, one or two friends that knew him for many, many years, and then of course I think his his father and his 2 sisters, and they were the members of the foundation, and they would pass judgment and authenticate his work when it came to them. However, they disbanded the foundation. I think it was somewhere about 2012. And the reason, I was told, was because they had several prominent collectors, or one in particular, that gave them a piece that they didn't authenticate, and they were being sued. So at the same time, a number of the different foundations, including, I think, I'm trying to remember which others, but there were, I think, the Andy Warhol as well. A number of the foundations closed. Based on that, they didn't want to get into any involved in litigation, and they closed their doors. So the art world, basically, especially with Basquiat, has taken and also Jackson Pollock, which we've starting to research. They've taken the position that unless those foundations had authenticated it, or unless they have rock solid provenance and proof that it was his work, they will not sell it. So we felt and feel that there is a room for a group of authenticators or experts to authenticate some of this work, and we are working on that to see if we can get that done. Anyhow, so everyone remember, please, if you have anything unusual in collectibles, contemporary art, older art, newer art, sports memorabilia, let us know what it is. The more unique, the better. The more unusual, the better. And it doesn't have to be what you think is valuable. It's what I think is valuable and what the market thinks is valuable. We pay you based on what we think, not what you think. Okay? So don't think too much. Just give us a call, text us, and we'll be happy to help you in any way, shape, or form. We're going to be right back. Should I say we're going to be right back with Mr. Abe, or no, we don't know that. So we'll be right back.
Yes.
And then you'll put that together for me, right? We're good, right?
Yeah, we'll be right back with Mr. Abe. Would have been fine as well, but you did introduce
that.
Abe
I'll
in the
just
beginning,
say
but
that.
say it
Okay.
again now.
We are here, well, not going to we here, we'll be right back with our
Talking.
special co-host, Mr. Abe, who's going to be talking about some of his personal stories and other issues of his life. Thank you. Good, done.
Done.